Hello, welcome to Finn vs. History. I'm here with Horatio Gould and... what?
Sorry. So I listen back to the other episodes and I always just say hello and
Yeah.
I wanted to see what came out and
What
I regret making that noise.
what came
admittedly.
out?
I just went, oh! I don't know what that noise is trying to imply. Does it imply I hear under duress, that I'm sort of timid but also sort of one of your podcast slave?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Oh. I like the idea that people are listening and don't watch and have no idea what you look like.
Yeah,
but then the thing is that
I look like a lot of people.
But when they see your face, they'll think, oh yeah, that noise.
Yeah.
That noise makes sense.
Oh.
You've got quite a face.
When they hear your Chinese accent and see your face, they're like, yeah, that makes sense. That's that kind of white guy.
Yeah, that's that guy. Yeah. Of course, he
I
started
went to school with that guy, yeah.
He started a podcast where he can just do Chinese accents.
Yes.
For academia.
But welcome back to another episode. Thank you for supporting Finn vs. History. This is the golden age of Athens, Greece.
The golden age of Athens.
Greece, who I feel of all the countries, Greece has been hit by you the most. Probably, it's probably your most common stereotype is a Greek man asleep in a plastic chair. That is probably the most. Well, you go back to that the most.
It's
probably
a form of racial stereotyping. I don't feel it's been said enough by other people,
Yeah.
and I, as a sort of messiah complex, feel that I have to address it.
On your Fred again soundboard of racist stereotypes, the Greek one, it's worn off.
Not today.
Yeah,
that's not today.
It's completely worn from the other ones. It's breaking.
Yeah.
The plastic's wearing
it's the
away.
W on your keyboard when you're always doing www. Not today. I'm too sleepy. Good night.
You almost have a sort of there's a sort of psychological obsession with the Greeks.
I'd say it's probably bordering on split personality at this point. There's me, and then there's I go to sleep. I'm not ready to.
But you say this, and also we've done a lot of clips being racist to the Greeks. Luckily, because they're all so lazy, and we haven't had much backlash.
No, but it's been a couple of weeks, so they're probably waking up now. I'm too tired to comment. I have a quick nap and then I go.
But isn't Greece your favourite country in many ways?
The best place to go for holiday. I genuinely, I say this with love. It's the best holiday destination.
Yeah.
But you know
how...
Because
it's the opposite to you, right? The Greeks.
Yeah, but
and that's why you want to break from your head.
Exactly. Couldn't have said it better myself. I go to Greece to shut down. But what's fun, and everyone else does as well. What's funny is that when they try and claim that they're a country that isn't essentially everyone's pillow.
Right.
That's what Greece is to Protestants, white Protestants, which is the default. As that we're
what factory settings? Reset.
In our heads, we're the factory settings. Hard reset, finger in the arse, finger in the mouth. You get this. Turn it off, turn it on again. Hello, that's me. That's me and you, right?
Yeah, before you've personalised it.
That's we're the uncustomized.
When you're building a sim, we're before you started moving the eyes around and stuff.
Yeah, we're in a suit. We're just hello, hi there,
hello.
And then after you play your first sim with this, and then you go, well, fucking, let's make him a bit more interesting. Let's put him in a sombrero.
We just didn't get customised at all. We're just sitting on a sofa in a suit. That's how
we're. We feel comfortable this way. Think of how many people start podcasts where they it's great. I just wear what I want. We're genuinely dressing up to do this because we feel comfortable. And we don't have to make a decision.
Finally. But you go on holiday to Greece.
I go on holiday to Greece.
That's your favourite holiday destination.
I love going to Greece. Love everything about there for a week. I definitely could not. I think if I lived there, I'd go insane.
Yeah,
because there's just they operate on Greek time,
right?
So which is not today. That's Greek time. When's the bus? Not today. I don't know. I don't feel like bus today.
Wait, so you mean when you're at the bus stop and there's the ticker?
Yeah.
And how long it's coming? It just says not today.
The number 91.
That's every day.
The number 91. Not today. You go on City Mapper and it's just not today. And it's like, you know how it says issues?
I don't know when, but one thing I definitely know is it's not today.
And you go, tomorrow? I don't know. Who can say? Tomorrow, new day.
We'll check. Tomorrow comes, not today.
Not today. No. There's nothing more. The whole country, when you go on holiday and you've hired a car, do you drive?
No.
No, you don't look like you can drive.
No.
Oh, he doesn't drive. I'm waiting for the bus. That's that noise.
What's that supposed to imply? Are you saying that I'm sort of looking at bus timetables, I'm a window licker,
No. I'm saying you're too you read too much to learn how to drive. That's what I'm saying.
Good.
Someone looks at you and goes, that guy can't drive.
Yeah, it's true. I'm terrified of getting behind a wheel. I will kill a small family, I reckon.
Yeah. So you go on holiday, you've hired a car, and you are in the shuttle bus to take you from the terminal to the car hire place, and you could walk it in 15 minutes,
right?
But you can't. You're not allowed to because it's whatever. It's an airport, and so you're ready to go. The whole bus is full, and there is a fat Mediterranean man behind the wheel, just sat.
And it's just so warm wherever
it's so warm. Everyone's sweating, and he's just sat there. Yeah. He's not. The amazing thing is, he's not even on his phone. He's not reading a paper. He is he's just staring out a window. I mean, I think my point is that I think no one has more robust mental health than the Greeks.
Yeah.
Because they can just sit, and they're all like Buddhists, really.
Well, then we're like brain rotted in a way because you have to constantly be having
What's the next thing?
I've got 3 versions of pornography all at the same time while I'm also,
work,
on the phone to my mum. It's complicated.
Exactly. It's a lot going on. Whereas they are just at one with nothing. And you're ready for your holiday to start. It's been a stressful journey. Yeah. You've been on a plane. That's a bit yucky, whatever. Yeah. You're like, right, last bit. We've still got to drive to the place. Last bit of bullshit before we can take things in our own hands and just drive.
Yeah.
And that you are being essentially stopped from doing anything by a man just sat inactive. And it's like, where do I turn you on? Do I have to shove a finger up
They're
your
not
arse?
off. They're on standby mode,
They're always on standby mode, the Greeks. The Greek are just buffering wheels. And that's what the whole country is.
But I think there's a level of jealousy there in some way, or envy.
Totally.
Because I have a lot of envy for Mediterranean taxi drivers. Whenever I'm in Greece or Turkey, there's just something about that world for some reason.
The confidence to approach women with this sort of flagrant disregard.
Yeah, they're kind of fat, balding, and just very confident in their, shouting about politics.
Because people who look like that in Britain, they don't talk to women. Because they see themselves in the mirror and they go, well, I shouldn't be saying anything.
But he's just yelling out the window.
He thinks he's an Adonis. That's what's crazy.
But all he's got is the tiny cock. And he's like, you have to have something else. It's not just, you have to have other stuff.
Pretty lady, come see how small my cock is. Pretty lady, smallest cock you'll see today.
Yeah, the Overton window has changed on the cock front, my friend.
But then you look at Greek statues, and tiny cocks are clearly... They're a status symbol in Greece.
But they used to be, It used to be barbaric to have a massive.
I still think
massive
that.
Johnson.
I still think that.
I think it's incredibly vulgar.
I think it's vulgar. I think it's an insult. I think it should be classed as an offensive weapon. I think you should have.
We should have you have to get a license. You have to,
there are some men.
You have to go through the proper channels. It's not illegal to have one, but you have to make sure that the government knows that you've got it.
Farmers and guns. Yeah, it's like you have to have a license to carry something that big. I think on all times.
Well, it's industrial machinery, isn't it?
Some of the ones I've seen.
It's like a combine harvester. You need to be properly trained.
You can't just walk around. You can't walk around driving a combine harvester, South London.
I was in Zante when I was 19, which is a Greek island, and on the boat it said, please do not use this if you're not properly trained.
Yeah.
And so this Greek guy called Nikos, I was there with 5 other 19-year-olds.
Yeah.
There's a speedboat.
Default setting 19-year-olds.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Come on. You couldn't tell us apart. It was and it was 5 19-year-olds left on a speedboat, right? And we thought when we taught how to use it, and it said, do not use this unless you're properly trained. Nikos went, forward! All right. And that's it. He just said forward.
Well, you don't need back. You just go in a circle. Like my son has got a remote control car, even though he's too young to have one, really, because he doesn't have the dexterity. But there's a remote control car for 18-month-olds, which is one button which is forward, and the other one which is like
turn?
3-point turn.
Right.
So if you want to change direction, you have to go like that every time. But that's a boat, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
You can't reverse in a boat, really.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point is that we are doing the golden age of Athens.
Well, are we doing where they did so much stuff that they slept forever?
Yes, this is the big thing they did as a country. Right. Well, golden age is relative, isn't it? I'd say nowadays it's a golden age of Athens if you are someone who sells shit plastic chairs. Because that's all anyone does.
I guess so. Golden age is in the eye of the beholder, right?
Yes. If you're this is what we as the default setting, people who work and have ambition to get off the chair.
Right.
This is what we think of as the golden age of Athens. We define it as that because
pull yourself up by your sandal
This
straps.
is where people actually did stuff and worked and invented things.
Yeah.
and then they got a bit hot and had a nap for 2,000 years. Not today. That's what they said.
But this is, if you can cast your mind back, this is Greece when it was today. We'll do it today. This is
we
thousands
do
of years.
It right now.
We'll do it right now.
And what's amazing is that you just cannot see that anywhere. That today, that's just ruins now in Greece.
But it's a different peoples, I think, because you look at the statues, they're not the same people.
Well, they've got small dicks.
They've got small dicks.
Yeah.
It's a different type of person.
Yeah.
But beneath...
No arms either.
Beneath these incredible...
If anything, they should have bigger dicks because now they're getting...
It's amazing how much they achieve with no arms, isn't it?
I know. Amazing. Things they built.
Exactly. Disabled icons, a lot of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the shadow of a 6'3" Adonis with a tiny cock but incredibly ripped.
You can just say Adonis. Well, I think small cocks are... I call men who have small cocks Adonises. That's what I say.
The gentleman's...
The gentleman's Adonis. Yeah, the high class. Anything bigger than an inch and a half is, vulgar.
Yeah, because do you know what?
Common.
Do you know what it is about a big cock? It insists upon itself. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. It doesn't knock before entry. Doesn't ring the doorbell.
It's flashy.
Just comes through the letterbox willy-nilly.
Yeah, but it's like one of those big, like a yellow, it's like a Hummer limo, right?
Yeah,
It's long, it's bouncing.
It's got 10 screaming women in the back. Yeah, it's a Hindu. It's a Hindu stretched limo.
I think a small cock is old money, wouldn't you say?
Totally. Totally.
Refined.
You can get a penis extension, but you cannot get class. You can't.
For us, class is a micro penis.
Tiny dicks. It's classy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's implied that you can't even functionally have sex. It's so small.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying that. I think. Is it in yet? Oh yeah, no, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Is it in yet? Well, just take my word for it.
Because it's it means the woman is having to
trust you.
It also it rewards more presence in the act because you're going, oh, is it in yet? Oh, it is. And then you think, oh, I'm thinking about this.
Well, it's actually more about a question of faith or like a more spiritual question.
How small is your dick?
It's more when the woman
you take your trousers down.
Is
you have
it
to
in
believe
there?
me.
She'll have no way of knowing because that's how small it is.
It's unknowable.
It's unknowable, and she has to take me saying it is. She has to take the faith of it, the word of God.
The word of God. So this is the golden age of small dicks.
This is the golden age of small dicks. Golden age of Athens.
Which is Athens. And this is when it gets... This is our first foray into the ancient world, really.
Yes.
World you sort of long for and you feel more comfortable in.
Yeah, I do.
For me, it's kind of the 19th century.
Yeah, exactly.
Scramble for Africa.
Yeah, just say it.
Accents are fine.
Just say it.
Accents are fine.
The Nazis.
Hey. No. 19th century.
Right.
Nazis have got too big a cocks for me.
Exactly.
Victorian small dicks.
Vulgar.
So this is where it gets slightly confusing for the dum-dums listening because this time is going backwards towards Christ, which is the default setting.
We're hurtling towards Christ.
A second plane has hit Christ. Year zero is for the default setting, such as ourselves. Mm-hmm. That's Christ.
Well, this is before Christ, but after Bucket, right?
We're still after Bucket. So let's set this in context. The golden age of Athens is 480 BC, but that's earlier than sort of 430 BC.
Right.
Because time is going backwards.
Yes.
Because it's ancient
It's
history.
a Christopher Nolan film.
It's pre-Christianity.
Right.
This is exactly it. This is it. This is Tenant.
Yeah.
And I've not seen it. And
you can't hear what anyone's saying.
You can't see what anyone's saying.
The score is overpowering. Michael Caine's there, but I don't know why he's there.
The dialogue makes no sense at all. This is the Christopher Nolan film. So it's after Bucket.
Yeah.
It's before it's before Inception, it's before Tenet, it's before Nolan really got going. And as someone who is ancient Greece, is this it's seen of as like the first in quotes civilization?
No, because you probably said the Egyptians,
well, this
right?
is what I was going to say. There's the Egyptians who invented
quite a few of them.
They invented the bucket.
Yeah, they did. We're a big fan of typing in who invented this. A lot of this podcast is who invented that. Yeah. And it's often the Egyptians.
It is often the Egyptians, yeah.
On the scoreboard, they get a lot of things.
Can we find something they didn't invent?
Yeah.
Because also, a lot of things you could use a bucket for.
Yeah.
So technically, did the Egyptians invent the toilet?
I bet, apparently I imagine they invented the pocket pussy, like some version.
It's a small bucket.
Yeah. Exactly.
The fucket bucket. Charlie, who invented the pocket pussy? I'm going to say it's a man.
I think it was Mary Curie as one of her side inventions.
Yeah, but it was the cancer one that stuck. Life has been good to Shubin, especially since he invented the fleshlight, the world's most successful sex toy for men.
Let's find out about Shubin. Was he from ancient Egypt?
This title is from the Austin Chronicle, and it's called "Pressing the Flesh." I doubt he was Egyptian. Right. So my point is, though, that ancient Greece, LAPD cop turned sex toy mogul.
Austin, all right, is American.
Wow, Steve Shubin. Shubin invented the fleshlight.
Yeah, invented it.
Paul Blart. I mean, look at him. Look at this guy. He looks like a sort of pre-Me Too Colonel Sanders.
Yeah.
He looks a bit Australian.
Yeah.
I wouldn't get in a car.
I wouldn't like to be his receptionist.
No. No.
But we're not talking about
This isn't a history of the fleshlight, much as I'd like it to be. It's about the ancient Greeks.
Well, we've done 15 minutes. We haven't said one interesting thing yet.
Yes, we have. Yes, we have. No, maybe you're right. Actually, no, we haven't. Athens.
This is maybe our least informative opening so far, actually.
So what I was going to ask was, ancient Greece is seen as the cradle of what
cradle of Western civilization, because a lot of how long-standing a lot of their inventions are today, and how much we still use them. And you could sort of but people view it as quite often racist. People are trying to bring it up that it's the cradle of Western civilization. But I don't know. Because
there are Egyptians, and then before that, Sumerians.
Now, there's a lot of other ones, actually. The Sumerians are in Mesopotamia,
right?
I believe.
Which is the Fertile Crescent.
Yes, which was, for some reason, even though it's completely barren now, right at the beginning of civilization, which is like, I guess, 3,000, 4,000 BC, when people started like really doing shit. It seemed like there was just one tiny bit in Iraq where there was like 30 types of crops as opposed to 4.
Right.
But now there's none, so I don't really understand that.
So basically, Iraq and Greece, if you went hard in the BCs, you're now fucked. Yeah. That's the kind of...
Yeah, and Saddam tried to get Iraq to wake up and start working.
Don't tempt me with Saddam stuff. That'll be another episode. Saddam is all I'm here for. Don't tempt me with Saddam.
When you get a non-sleepy Middle East and Mediterranean, it's carnage.
It's carnage. Yeah, that's the rule. If you get a boss man who's not sat in the chair, people are dying.
Yeah, exactly. It's terrifying.
So ancient Greece and the golden age of Athens, which scholars such as ourselves tend to date at the start of the... Is it 5th century BC, which is for the 400s?
But remember, this is 2,500 years after the pyramids, so there's still been a lot of shit going on.
That's crazy.
Because if we condense it into a lot of time, this is a lot of the things that we take for granted now. But there's been lots of shit.
So do you reckon
the Minoans are the earliest Greek civilization, which are on the island of Crete. They're like 3,000, 2,500 BC. They're like the earliest European settlements, and they got destroyed by a big flood, and they're potentially Atlantis, is what people say. That's what potentially the myth of Atlantis comes from. The Minoans, who are like an early great civilization who got knocked out by a giant flood.
Right. So you've got the ancient Greece. Before that, Mesopotamia, Sumerians. Before that, Neanderthals, basically.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah, because the thing is, time moves. Like AI 2 years ago is not what it was today, and we're making huge jumps that are hard for the human brain to even comprehend.
In the space of 2 years.
Yeah. But time's very different now.
No.
Because I think even going back before civilization, a million years,
nothing
maybe you're like... The difference is maybe they've invented a belt.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like that's...
You're saying the belt came before the bucket?
But probably not, actually.
I don't think so.
That's very... Yeah.
So that's mad. So do you think in 2,000 years' time, they will group, like this podcast, Hitler and Stonehenge will just be the same?
I don't know. I don't know if history's just being much more densely packed.
There'll be these clips on their version of TikTok where they're like, did you know that Stonehenge is older to Hitler than it is... to us now.
Yeah. Film as history was close to Hitler than it is to us.
Yeah, and we'd be like, what? They're so similar. So this is they typically, the golden age of Athens, which as we've said, nowadays it's a golden age if you make shit plastic chairs, but what we would deem the golden age of Athens starts 480 BC, which is the tail end of the Persian War.
Yeah, the Greco-Persian War.
Who are the Persians?
Persians are big daddies, and to be honest, they
carpets.
Don't get... Yeah, I guess so. But I mean, this is beginning of carpets. Like
they are starting to remove their back hair and make it into carpets.
Everything that a lot of the kind of vibes of the Middle East, the beautiful architecture, the carpets, all those styles. They kind of, Persians are sort of the goat of those civilizations. That's kind of the beginning of that shit.
Yeah.
All comes, the domes, all of that sort of, that kind of, how you imagine, your racist imagining of the Middle East.
Yes.
I think, now he's listening.
Yeah, sorry, I fell asleep for a minute there. Sorry.
I'm awake again.
Yeah, here we go.
That comes from the Persians. And I don't think we learn enough about the
Spices.
Persians. Spices. That whatever you're thinking,
yeah,
that comes from the Persians probably.
I had Sunday lunch yesterday with friends, and because they both have 2 toddlers as well, and the toddler just spilt cumin all over the table. Right. It was actually really interfering with the apple crumble we were eating, just sort of nasally. But it was quite funny. We were saying this is what people used to do. Just spill spices and go, look how wealthy I am with cumin. Yes. Just pour spice all over the table and go, I don't give a shit about this.
Because like pepper weighed more, was worth more than gold and stuff.
This is where they're basically buying stuff with spice. Is my point.
Right. Yeah.
Persians.
Probably. Yeah. But I'm saying even further back, for like 2,500 years, Persians were kind of number one empire in the world, but we don't really learn about it because they're always seen as they're either fighting the Romans, who we sort of view ourselves as in the West, or the Greeks.
The Greeks are before the Romans.
Yes,
of course.
But Persians stay consistent and are fighting people throughout.
Angry carpet boys,
but the first angry carpet boys.
So the Persians are fighting the Greeks. They've invaded Greece, and Athens, which is now Greece again. It's
broken up into city-states.
City-states, so like the Vatican.
Yes.
So there's 12 Vaticans.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah. I guess was it not Liechtenstein? What's the European one? Luxembourg.
Andorra.
It's like Luxembourg, right?
No, that's
a city-state, isn't it?
No, there's Andorra, there's Luxembourg, there's Liechtenstein.
Yeah.
Monaco.
Yes.
Monaco.
I think Luxembourg would be a city.
No, it's a country.
Okay, just small.
It's a very bad shit country. I mean, if you're looking at Belgium going, wow, that's massive, you fucked. I could never go to Belgium.
I wish I had such distinct cultural identity as Belgium.
Yeah, you've got nothing going on. Yeah. Look at those Belgians. I'm dating a Belgian boy. Wow.
I think it's hard to start fascism in a country like Luxembourg because it's hard to know what to even grab onto. It's like, exactly. What flags are we doing? What's our thing? Like, no one knows who we even are.
Who cares?
Are we French? I don't know either.
I don't know. What do we speak? Who cares?
You can't get goose-stepping soldiers marching on the idea that we're kind of like the French. That's not.
No.
You've got to be distinctly someone.
You've got to be German. So
there's a lot of city-states, right?
Yeah.
There's Sparta, there's Corinth, there's Athens, and they're all broken up, but they've all come together. The Hellenistic kingdoms.
They're all being invaded by
the Persians, who are trying to expand their empire, and then the Persians get beaten at one of the biggest battles in antiquity.
Salami.
The battle over the salami. Hide the salami.
Because that was warfare in the ancient times. There was a game called Hide the Salami.
Hide the salami. Can we get up Battle of Salamis? Oh, that's how it is. It's right in front of us.
A pivotal naval battle.
Yeah.
So what are the ships like at this point?
What are they called? They're called something.
Big floaty things. Ancient boats. They're like they're long boats, but they're being rowed. Right. They're long rowboats. So like the kind of thing you'd see in the boat race.
Yeah, but massive. Trimeres. They're like that.
Long, narrow, oar-powered warships with 3 levels of rowers.
Yeah.
3 levels?
Mm-hmm.
As in like a multi-story?
Yeah, it's like a double-decker bus.
So the oars at the top are longer than the oars at the bottom?
I imagine so.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, it is. I don't know what the sail. I don't know what the sail's doing at this point.
Is this pre-sale? This might be pre-sale.
I think they've got a sail,
but I don't know. There's no sail on it.
But they haven't really worked out what that is.
I think they couldn't get someone who's awake long enough to get up there to hang it. I think that's probably the issue.
Yeah, but yeah, they beat the Persian salami.
They hide the salami successfully long enough. The Persians can't find it.
Athens play like a key role in this, right? I think they're like a reinforcement who come in, save the day, fuck up Persia, and this starts the golden age of Athens because of the kind of cultural confidence it gives, the kind of relative peace it brings.
They form the Delian League,
right?
Which is where all the city-states.
It's like the EU. Right?
Yes, they form an early version of the EU. Except they're all Greece. I don't know how the fuck they managed it. Given that
I don't know who's paying for
the EU is essentially subsidising Greek men to sit on chairs. That's what the EU is.
Like in Greece, you can't use the toilet. Have you tried to use a toilet?
Oh my God, I can't believe we're nearly half an hour in and I've not ranted about the fucking buckets. The poo bins in Greece. Are you aware of the poo bins?
Do you know about this?
Oh my God, right. If you
can't flush toilet paper down the
You can't flush shit down a Greek toilet. Their sewage system cannot handle poo.
Yeah.
Now, what I would say is, why have you built a sewage system that can't handle poo? Okay? Piss and poo.
You're not a sanitation expert, but
I'm
I feel...
far from it. But what I do know is that I don't just want loose poo above ground in the streets.
Yeah, that's sanitation 101, isn't it?
I'd say that's day one of being a sanitation expert. Where's loose poo going? Underground? Underground.
Not in here.
Not in here.
I don't care.
Not where anyone
To be
could.
honest, my big thing with sanitation is out of sight, out of mind.
There's the big saying, again, that's the motto of sanitation. Out of sight, out of mind. Put the poo wherever you want, as long as it's nowhere near me.
We're building a civilization, right? There's the poo guy. My thing to him is, to be honest, can you sort this out?
Yeah.
I actually don't want to think about this.
I'm going to delegate.
Yeah, I don't care what you do with it. I don't care who you kill.
Yeah.
I just don't want to see it.
Get it out of the way.
In Greece, he came back holding all of the shit, saying, where should I put this? I don't want to think about it. That's your job.
Stavros, how many times?
Do you have a spare room that I can put this in?
Yeah. And then they went, fuck it, let's just put it in this office waste paper bin. So every toilet in Greece, right, has a little pedal bin next to it.
Small, not big, big bin.
Smaller than the actual toilet, right? And the toilet you piss in, and you poo in.
Yeah.
But then when you wipe, you put your dirty bum tissues in an office bin.
Yeah. Which barely ever gets changed.
Which doesn't get changed. So essentially, I mean, pray for Greek cleaners.
Yeah. And the dichotomy of Greece being one of the most romantic destinations in the world, and no matter how romantic a holiday you're having, if you're sharing a toilet, there's still going to be a mountain of shitty tissues in there.
Yeah, if you're going to Greece on your honeymoon, you're kind of fast-tracking marriage.
It's brilliant until that's one thing that's kind of impossible to overcome.
Is this a rural problem or is it?
No.
I mean, in nice hotels in Athens, they've sorted it out.
No. The top of the Shard in Athens has a poo bin. This is a city.
Yeah, but the Shard is just a big plastic chair
to them. The guy sat on top, really soaking up some rays.
Yeah, he's the king of Greece.
He's the king of Greece. He's the king of Greece. We should have said the king of Greece sits on top of the highest building in a chair, sunning himself, pooing, and then wiping his bum and putting it in an office bed. Do you know what it is? If they'd had the fucking gumption to invent a thing to put the bum tissue in, I wouldn't be so annoyed. The fact that it's literally something you can get from fucking Staples, it's an office bin. I'm like, come on, guys.
Right. Well, not considered to have a widespread poo problem in the sense of a major sanitation issue. Greece can occasionally experience issues with toilet facilities in older buildings. That's not true.
Particularly with potential for clogged pipes. This is AI overview. I think it doesn't know what's going. Look, you've got to.
It doesn't want to be racist. Fair enough.
You've got to go there. You've got to go there and see the issues.
You've got to be like Bourdain, you know.
Parts unknown. Poops unknown. Right.
Let's try and do some. It's halfway through. We have not said one interesting thing.
No, we have the Delian League, which is a league of people that put poo tissue in office bins. Right, it's like a pooey EU, the e-poo.
Yeah,
right.
Good.
The Delian League forms in 478.
Yep.
Athens becomes the dominant naval power in the Mediterranean because they've got the port Piraeus, which is a bit of a toilet. I think that's where they're putting the poo at the moment.
Yeah.
Piraeus is where you stay before you then get a boat out to the island. I say that's what I do.
Yeah.
We go to the Greek islands.
What, you stay at Piraeus?
Family. Hey, Piraeus is the port of Athens.
Oh, so you actually stay there?
Yeah, that's where you stay before you get a boat out to...
Is it nice?
Huh?
Is it nice, bro?
No, it's a toilet.
Okay.
But it's a toilet that you on the way to beautiful Greek islands. Right. So Athens, the reason for Athens, the so-called golden age, we haven't. Do you know what? We haven't even said what they invent. And we're half an hour in.
And they invent pretty much everything.
What we've said what they don't invent.
Yeah.
Which is toilet, a vestibule to put pooey bum paper in. Athens invents in this period so-called democracy,
theatre, philosophy. I mean, comedy within theatre.
Yeah, but it's not funny, is it?
What?
You watch a Greek comedy, you're not laughing.
Okay, yeah. I mean, what's some of the plots of a Greek comedy? Can you look up Greek comedies?
But the point I'm making is that it's because they have the strong naval power, which I guess is maybe why Britain becomes the empire. Whoever bosses the seas tends to have the most kind of technological advancements.
Right.
So they boss the seas, they see off the Persians, and then they have the security for all this stuff to happen. So there's an ancient Greek comedy called The Frogs.
Let's see how funny it is. Aristophanes, he's like the goat of comedy, to be honest. He invents comedy, Aristophanes, basically.
So he's like Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
Right. And let's see the plot of The Frogs then.
Well, you can draw a line between this and Aristophanes. So you got to pay the respect
Dionysus,
to your she's the god of wine or having a good time.
He's a fella. He's a big guy.
Yeah. He's the god of wine and drinking and having a good time.
So he's traveling with his slave. Now that is something we should. That is funny. But something we should talk about is that they invent democracy, but it's democracy as we would understand it 100 years ago.
Yeah.
In that there's no women and no blacks, no Jews, no Irish.
Yeah, it's democracy for 40 white guys.
Yeah. Democracy.
Yeah, it's democracy for a bridge club, basically.
Yeah, it's the boys. It's keeping the boys together.
Yeah.
So Dionysus is traveling with his slave to the underworld.
Yeah.
And the slave is carrying Dionysus' baggage, and he attempts to make fun of his heavy load with toilet humour. Do you know what? I take it back.
It's quite funny.
Yeah.
So the jokes he believes.
Sorry,
the
Greek toilet humour is just a Greek toilet.
Yes.
It's a fucking joke.
That's the joke.
Look, we put shitty bum paper in bin. It's funny, no?
Yeah. I mean, this is not bad. The jokes he believes the audience are expecting from the situation, but the god frustratedly preempts his remarks. So he already says, no, I know you're going to do that joke. It's sort of like me on this podcast. Yeah. When I already know which accent you're going to do. Yeah. I know.
Yeah. Cock blocking my accents. So Dionysus seeks advice from his half-brother Pericles. Advice what? About his nippy slave?
Yeah.
Is what his chippy? Just kill him.
Yeah. Well, this is it's a comedy. It's
Oh right.
It's like a British summer comedy.
Last of the summer wine. This is. Dionysus shows up at his doorstep dressed in a lion hide, carrying a club. Pericles. I can't help laughing. I mean, it's not. It's not fucking. Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, it's not a question of sport.
It's not Eddie Murphy delirious, is it?
Yeah. Well, it's probably got as much homophobia.
He's not accusing one entire section of the Washington Arena of having AIDS. It's not funny like that is.
When did you last watch Delirious?
Probably more recently than most people. But it's the first stand-up I ever saw.
Really?
I have a
really makes a lot of sense. So that's what you think stand-up is?
I think that is the problem.
Yeah. That you're doing stand-up of a black guy from the 90s or the 80s.
It's the 80s. He's 21 in Delirious.
I know, it's crazy.
And
his career is quite Greek, actually.
Yeah.
Burn incredibly bright, do everything, and then sit in a chair for 40 years.
Voice a donkey and then sit in a chair, yeah. But that's why I started stand-up wearing an orange leather jumpsuit.
And saying the N-word, which I feel took you a while to work out.
I do think my next tour, I should come out as Eddie. That'd be amazing. Come out as
Absolutely
Eddie Murphy.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and then I just do my normal material. That might make more sense.
Oh, he's doing a parody of Eddie Murphy. No, that's what he does normally.
But whatever you need to enjoy it. Is it a parody? Is it not? Anyway.
When you go back to watch Delirious, which is often touted as one of the great comedy albums of all time or seminal, and you kind of like, well, I got to watch this as a comedy fan. It's good to kind of be clued up on the history of the art form, and opens with the most insane homophobia, which I think the premise is, and he keeps using the F word. Yeah. The premise is imagining if your son was an F word. The
premise is he says that I've got to keep moving quickly across the stage and changing direction so the F section doesn't look at my arse. That's the premise. So
opening joke.
So you know how Jamoan has that funniest bit at the stage? Where he moves to the stage and wait and people laugh. Great bit.
Yeah.
Murphy's take on that was just to go, well, that section's gay, so I need to not face away from them.
He was trying to hide his arse from the gay section. Yeah. All right, now this is
absolutely
quite funny.
Seminal.
It's quite funny.
So anyway, this is another comedy, Charlie, you've got up, called The Wasps.
All right.
So we had The Frogs, which is obviously laugh a minute. Now we've got The Wasps. 11 surviving plays by Aristophanes. Right, are all Aristophanes plays about animals?
As in his other plays, Aristophanes satirizes the Athenian general and demagogue Cleon. He also ridicules the law court. So this is a bit more like How I Got News for You.
Yeah.
One of the institutions that provided Cleon his power. The play has been thought to exemplify old comedy.
Right. Now, what's old comedy? Click on that.
Is it Ian Hislop?
Is it? It's Paul Merton, Ian Hislop, Radio 4.
Do you know how theatre was invented, though, in Greece?
No.
Do you care?
I really don't care, but go on, tell me.
Well, because I went to Athens about 4 months ago, maybe 5 months ago, and the Theatre of Dionysus is where it kind of started. Basically, it was like a religious festival that got out of hand.
The Dionysus Festival.
Yeah, so Dionysus,
which in my head that's like Oktoberfest.
Yes, it was like Oktoberfest.
Yeah,
and basically they every year they do the Theatre of Dionysus. They'd have this big parade. They go through the city, and they'd kind of end with like a little dance at the end. Right. They're just pissed out their mind.
Yeah.
And eventually, it just kind of slowly developed into people sitting down, watching the dance. Every year, it just turned more and more into what we think is theatre now. You know, it's too long, it's boring, there's programs.
Yeah, best bit's the interval.
Yeah. You know, what we know as theatre now just developed over time from this sort of like, Oktoberfest just very slowly descended.
A boring German play. Wow.
Yeah, it slowly happened. You know, people sat there. Now people are boring you at dinner parties with their thoughts on the last Theatre of Dionysus ending. And before you know it, theatre and all
the West
live
End
performance, you know, came from that.
So theatre is invented. I guess we should talk about a democracy, shouldn't we?
Yeah,
because that's what everyone really talks about.
And the big dog here is Pericles, right?
Pericles is the big guy.
Yeah.
Pericles is the Athenian general.
Yeah.
But then does he sort of invent democracy? I
think so. And it's the idea of a tyrant, which I think is also a Greek word. Before Pericles, there'd been a whole string of tyrants,
right,
who had basically treated the demos, the people, badly, and Pericles invented democracy. That's about as much as I've got.
That's as much as you know, and you're the ancient history guy.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Right, so Pericles, as my understanding, is that he's like he's the guy.
Yeah.
He's Blair, he's Thatcher. he's a totemic figure that changes the country.
You're saying he's Margaret Thatcher. Right. He's the absolute goat. He's Margaret Thatcher.
No, I didn't.
He's Adolf Hitler.
You're putting words in my mouth. You're putting words in my mouth.
You're putting yogurt in my mouth.
Yeah. You please stop putting yogurt in my mouth. Yogurt is not for the next hour. I've got to sit stare out window first.
Not today.
Not today. Bus no come today.
Yeah.
Pericles he's a totemic figure.
Yeah.
He transforms Greece from tyrant people to democracy. Now, when everyone says that Greece invented democracy, what they mean is they invented the word.
Yes.
Because Greek democracy, as we just said, it basically involves the boys. Yeah,
it's not how we imagined it. It's not, because we've got our idea of democracy is all tied up with like human rights and the individual. They're like...
No.
They
have slaves.
Yeah.
They have existing slaves. Yeah. So the Greek, they have slaves who are, what are they, African slaves? Are they Turkish slaves? Are they just Greek slaves?
I think they're from all over the show. I don't think they were that racist about it. Because their idea of greatness comes from Athenians.
How small your dick is.
Exactly.
Right.
And being a citizen of Athens. And they believe that the citizens of Athens were the first people and they came out of the earth and that they're better than anywhere else. So it's kind of like, it's not like, they're not viewing it as like races or even nations. So
there's a story that the Athenians believe is that, I think it's Athena, and another god tries to fuck Athena.
Yes,
he comes on her...
Hephaestus, who is an ugly god. Right?
The god of ugliness.
Sort of. He's a lame blacksmith, right? So he's literally, he's not a loser. He is a bit, but he's got a gammy hand, basically.
And he's a blacksmith with a gammy hand. So he's Jeremy Beadle he's a blacksmith.
He's Zeus's first son. Zeus and Hera. Hera's his wife. Mm-hmm. So this is the king and queen of the gods.
Yeah.
They finally have their first child. And when Hera gives birth to him, he's so ugly that she cunts him off Mount Olympus.
For being too ugly.
Yeah. And then he hits his head on the way down and gets uglier and uglier. Right?
Well, each time he hits it.
Bang, 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 bang. He then, down in the depths, starts smelting, as you do.
Yeah.
You know, what else are you going to do? You're at the bottom of a mountain, you're ugly. You're going to smell.
Get in the shed, start making stuff. Yeah.
And becomes the god of blacksmiths, basically.
Right.
And an amazing blacksmith. Basically, through some other jape that the gods get into, his mum gets stuck on a chair.
Well, she's a Greek god. Say no more.
And the only person...
I can't get up, it's too comfy.
And the only person who can get her out is the master blacksmith, Hephaestus. And then she's like, I'm sorry for kicking you off a mountain. You can be my son because you got me out of this chair. a lovely story of a relationship between a mother and son.
But then he tries to fuck Athena.
Yeah, admittedly, because I remember the way Hephaestus was described to me is though he's ugly, he's actually really nice and everyone likes him. Right. And
well, ugly guys are normally nicer. They have to
but this story, when he comes on Athena,
he tries to fuck Athena,
who I think's his aunt anyway. I mean, they're all related because there's like 25 of them, and they're all one family. And they're all fucking
we're not
each other.
judging the past by today's standards. That's not what we do on this podcast.
That's definitely what we do. That's not what we do.
That's 100% what this podcast is about. But listen, let bygones be bygones.
Yeah.
Who amongst us has not fancied their cousin?
Let he who is without sin. Let he who has not fucked his cousin.
Well, no, I never said that. I just said we've all been 12 and don't speak to girls, and our cousin walks in and you go, oh, for a second, but then you don't do anything.
Yeah.
You don't do anything, you just repress it.
Yeah.
My point is that he tries to fuck Athena, doesn't succeed, comes on her essentially like a sock.
In a thigh.
Oh no, in her thigh.
Yeah.
She wipes it with a sock, throws the cum sock.
Yeah, the wool. Yeah.
Wool.
Like a woolen cloth.
Woolly sock,
yeah.
right? A thick cum sock. Athens grows out of a thick cum sock, is my point.
It does. It actually does.
She throws it onto the ground of Athens, and out from Athens spout that's what they believe.
Because the idea is wool is part of the earth, and it's the combination of the earth and God's cum.
Do you reckon before all this, a cum sock was just a whole sheep? Do you reckon guys would come on a lamb or something?
What, just fuck a lamb?
No, not fuck a lamb. They'd come into a lamb.
Right, so a pocket pussy would be like would be inside.
A tiny lamb.
What have you? Because that would be embarrassing.
What's that? That's my pocket. Yeah, do you reckon they just used whole sheep?
Yeah. Well, just on a lad's tour, what's embarrassing is in your luggage you can just hear lots of.
Oh, I see. Yeah. You don't think you're going to get lucky.
The jealousy they would have in the modern age, where it's like, well, your pocket pussy doesn't bleat. Yeah. That's amazing. That's what incredible invention.
But again, we can't judge past by today's standards.
No.
Pocket pussies were.
Exactly. This is not a judgmental podcast.
For them, they'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe that on a Sunday those guys roast pocket pussies.
Yeah.
They have roast lamb with mint sauce. They're eating fleshlight and mint sauce. What are they doing? That's barbaric.
Yeah, that is barbaric. That's barbarous. Yeah, massive cocks eating a pocket pussy.
Cocks, no license to carry these cocks. Anyway, sorry. The original question was, Charlie, please remove the face of the man who invented the fleshlight. That's not relevant anymore. Slaves came from many regions: Africa, Greece, other countries.
Do founding myth of Athens, because there's other stuff too.
They'd kidnap them, piracy. Yeah. Anyway, so is it Pericles in 451 BCE? He's an influential Athenian statesman. He passes a law that restricts citizenship to those whose parents were born Athenian, came out of the cum sock, and centralizing power within the Athenian citizen class.
Right.
So that citizen class, I think that
maybe the idea of a citizen is invented here.
Maybe, and that excludes women and excludes slaves.
Anyone who's shit crack
and who's it's basically just one big boys WhatsApp
anyone
group.
Who's a vibe kill.
Yeah, excludes vibe kills. But the point about democracy is that it's not representative; it's direct. Mm-hmm. So it is basically jury duty. Mm-hmm. They pick lots amongst the boys of who's going to do what job for like a year. Mm-hmm. So everyone has a turn at least once in their life of having some kind of government role.
Right.
And then it gets to the 19th century and people go, well, we cannot do this because people are fucking morons.
Yeah.
And so we're going to have...
Maybe not everyone should have a go.
Yeah.
Maybe some people should be doing other stuff.
Some people should never have goes.
Well, when you see like Wayne Rooney, we shouldn't all have a go being the striker for Man United.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Wayne Rooney shouldn't have a go being Prime Minister.
Exactly. I couldn't have put it better myself.
We have different skills.
Everyone has different skills, and it's fine to have different skills.
But once again, it's easy to judge. They haven't worked that out yet.
No,
you have to trial and error this shit. We take a lot of this stuff for granted.
They didn't know that you could eat a fleshlight.
They see Wayne Rooney shagging a granny or whatever he's doing and think, well, let's make him Prime Minister for a year.
I'll vote for him.
Yeah.
So they basically draw lots amongst the boys as who's going to do that.
Yeah.
Whereas in the 19th century, they were like, no, people are idiots, people are morons, don't do this. Those people can vote for someone to make their decisions on their behalf. Yeah. And that's where we are now, essentially.
Yes.
So the idea they invented democracy is just a word.
Yeah. I think more important is just the idea of being a citizen of a place, and then I guess the beginning of some sort of rights if you are an Athenian. And that's they're trying to protect the ideas of what an Athenian means. That's kind of
they invent ethno-nationalism.
Yes,
is what we should say.
That's what it should
it's
say.
It's not as nice a story to tell ourselves about ancient Greece, but
and the founding myth of Athens, more on it, is not just that because Athenians were made from the Cumsock, but the founding myth of why Athena is the goddess of Athens is because there was a contest between Poseidon and Athens, right? Athena,
right?
With who would be, and they both offered presents. Poseidon's gift was a saltwater spring, right,
to the city of Athens.
Yeah, and Athena's gift was an olive tree, which I feel like, I don't know.
Well, it's a step up from a cumsock, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so.
Olive
and then they
tree.
chose Athena, and that's why Athena is the goddess of Athens.
So they also, as we should say, invent. I mean, is it state-sanctioned paedophilia? Would you say?
Well, is it more like a?
It's got a word, pederasty.
When you say sanction, is it more encouraged?
It's not sponsored. It's not in the budget.
Yeah. But is it like I don't know, what is it when a government encourages things?
Well, it's nudge theory, isn't it?
Yeah.
Economic nudge theory. Is they go, if we cut taxes, like it's like charging the sugar tax on soft drinks.
Yeah,
it's nanny state stuff, isn't it?
Right.
I guess this is the opposite.
You
of
don't have. You don't have. Yeah. This is get the nanny out of there.
Get the nanny out of there. Fuck that young boy state, preteen state. It's called Pederasty.
Yeah.
Which is, I guess,
which is a great Greek way of making it seem
it's
like more intellectual than it is.
It's like people who say hebephile.
Yeah, lad, he's a fucking pedo.
He's a pedo. If you're
no,
I'm a hebephile.
A hebephile. Oh, you're trying to make it like cool and sexy that you're a pedophile.
Yeah. So hebephile is when you're into like, is it what?
Between 12 and 16.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
So they look down on pedos.
Yeah.
Now that is fun. That's a very funny concept. Going, fuck, I'm not sick in the head. I'm not a pedo. I'm a hebo.
I'm a hebo.
I'm a hebo guy.
Yeah.
I'm not a wrong one.
It's a subgenre, right? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I would say a massive red flag when someone starts distinguishing the type of paedophile.
I'd say if it's disco house or techno house, it's all house music, and you shouldn't be going in that house. That's what.
It's that annoying music guy who's like, no, it's actually kind of like 90s jungles rave mix.
Yeah, it's poolside disco mate, you're a pedo.
It's actually like
you're a paedophile.
Yeah, it's actually Korean hebo
Korean hebo
child molestation.
Yeah, mate.
Brother.
It's all
you've got to try this. It's really good actually. Yeah.
It's all bad stuff.
You'd love this. It's like sort of Afro hebophilia.
Yeah. But
it was a great scene in the 70s in Nigeria. It's incredible, yeah.
But it's socially acknowledged relationship between an older male and a younger male.
Well, it's like on the tube when it's they're constantly trying to get you
what
to
lines
stop.
Are you getting?
to stop you harassing.
What do you reckon the most pedo
staff.
tube line is?
I would probably say the most pedo tube line.
Bakerloo, I reckon.
Yeah. Well, Bakerloo's back in the
day.
Yeah. It feels very much like a rural private school in the 70s. Yeah. Bakerloo.
Bouncy seats.
No one's checking.
No one's checking. No one's cleaning the seats.
It's an old boys club.
Goes very far northwest.
That geography teacher, no one's checked in on him for 40 years. What's he been doing in that small prep school?
Very far northwest. Exactly.
The parents send their kids away for 10 years, don't see them again.
Yeah. No, Bakerloo line's the most pedo line, I think.
My point was, sort of see it, say it, sort it, where it's sort of like governmental boards trying to get you to do things.
Yeah.
That's what it's like.
What
you
is
don't
that
have
called?
to be a paedophile.
That's called social.
But it's see it, fuck it.
See it, fuck it, bin it.
Those signs were all over Athens.
Yeah.
It was just a classy thing.
Yeah, it had
the
class.
The love between two men, it wasn't gay at all. It was gay not fucking a young boy. Like that was.
Yeah, people would call other men gay for not fucking a man.
Yeah. All the philosophers, Plato, Aristotle, there was a philosophical school. At their lunch break, they would bum each other, but it wouldn't be awkward. Like the teacher would bum the young boy, and it's just like he would rest his cock betwixt his arse.
They do that at my school. That was just school.
That's still.
That was called general studies.
Yeah, I guess a kind of old British colonial values do have some Greco-Roman inspirations, as in at boarding schools you'd often get buggered by a teacher.
What about, did the girls get molested, or was it strictly...
Charlie, don't be vulgar, for God's sake.
I genuinely think they weren't that molested. It was very much, it was boy on boy.
Yeah, it's all boy stuff.
It's guys, it's for the boys.
It's the purest form of love.
Yeah.
Women were essentially entirely domesticated.
Right.
That sounded wrong.
What, like a cat?
Yeah. What I mean is they were domestic.
So they weren't wild. They weren't running. They weren't as
They were
herd
domestic
animals.
animals. They were domestic animals. The women, unlike now, of course, where they roam the savannah willy nilly. But no, the women's like it's such an afterthought of democracy.
Yeah.
And the reason is that men are working, men are fighting, men are doing all the decisions, men are fucking each other, so that everything can be taken off the woman, so that she can just raise kids and keep a home. Like it's like we're doing everything. We're not even fucking you. We're fucking the boys.
Yeah.
So we are reducing your mental load, ironically, to just the mental load.
Yeah.
The housework and the kids. That is all you got to worry about. I don't need to get my end away. I'm fucking Stavros 3 times a day.
It's they're kind of creating a closed loop economy within the men.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
just like we don't need you.
We sort ourselves out. And if I can't find that in my boys, if they're not responding, I've got a sheep around the corner. I'll come in that. Greek lamb, famously Greek lamb, very tasty. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why. Maybe they come in their sheep, and that's why Greek lamb is so good.
Can we find out more about Pederasty? Like, what's the actual details?
You sounded quite like a Hebephile there. Sorry, Charlie. Can you just click on the Pederasty?
There's a little image there. Let's have a look at that. Right.
So, but basically, we should probably, to be honest, we've hit nearly 55 minutes.
Yeah.
I guess what we'll do next time is actually do the Golden Age.
History, yeah.
To probably do the actual history. See, that dick's quite big for a statue.
I think that's vulgar.
I think that dick's too big.
Yeah.
I'm looking at that thinking, put it away, mate. Come on. No one needs to see that. I reckon.
My ass, lad.
I reckon. We pause it here.
Yep.
And next time we'll dig into
something.
No, we'll dig into the philosophers and we'll dig into the fall of Greece and how Athens basically perished. What we'll sum up why Athens goes from this incredible cradle of ideas to the cradle of fat men that it is now. Yeah, that's what we'll do.
Thanks very much for listening,
guys. That episode is already on the Patreon. You can sign up for £3 a month to become a truther. And either way, thanks for listening, and we will see you next time.
See you next time. Goodbye.